Welcome to Trading Lounge and the SP 500 for the 21st of August, starting on the 4-hour chart here. This is the pattern that we're working with at the moment. So we know from the top here, from the major trading level 3 here, that we're looking at a corrective move to the downside in terms of an A wave here and a B wave over here, and then a C wave down here. And yeah, so this B wave here, we were breaking this B wave down into an A wave, a B wave, which also has an ABC in it for the B wave, and then we're looking for 5 waves to the upside here. So this is the 50-60% retracement level that we're looking for. We're also looking for, well, let's just go in from wave B here to wave C here. We're looking for 5 waves in that particular structure. So let's go in and have a look at that on the hourly chart and the tick chart. So from wave B here to this wave B here in blue to wave C here in blue, we're looking for 5 waves, an impulse wave. And I mean, I understand the count, but one of the things that that we're looking at here is that when I look at this low here, right, if I look at that here, I can look at this as wave 1 and 2 here, and we'll look at this in a moment, but we've got 5 waves up here to this high here. So we should look at wave 4 here and then wave 5 here. So, but on the cash market, this low is a little bit different here. When I look at the cash market here, the low is different here. So from the low here, we can count well, probably 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. So we've got our 5 waves up here from the cash market point of view. So I'm a little bit lost on that. So from the cash market, we got 5 waves. For the cash market mixed with the futures market, we've got 1 and 2 here, and we've just got our 3rd wave up here. So what I can do is we can look at this wave 4 here, and we can get a good understanding of what we can expect from that. And if it moves any lower, then we'll call a top in. But otherwise, we'll look from this current low right here and right now to here. First of all, just on the trading side of things, we were long here, and you had a choice to take profit at 2900 here or 2930. And as I mentioned on the 4-hour chart, I mean, it's just the top here, but there's the other little thing that we mentioned last time. When you see tops occur, when you get a lot of open and closes together here, that means that there's a lot of orders being placed there. It's held the market there. So that line there, that becomes significant here, and that's what we were trading to there, because that's basically where the volume is, isn't it? The volume creates the price. Yeah, just go back to the hourly chart for a moment. So yeah, in this case, when I look at it, we've got wave 1 and 2 here, and we've got 5 waves up here, which I can see on the cash market, and I've pulled this apart here. And we have 5 waves in this little structure. So I'm looking for wave 4 here. Wave 4, while we're here, if we go from the low of wave 2 roughly to the top here, the 38.2% retracement level is just down here a little bit, and we've also got a little tiny gap in here as well, worth noting. So that's sitting pretty square there. So I don't need that green one there just yet. So 2890 is the 38.2% retracement level, and also to the gap there. But the gap has been just covered now as well. So we could be okay here as well. So that gap has been covered. So that's cool. We don't need to worry about that. So our main focus is basically, do we short the market based on the cash market, or do we look at this particular move in here as a wave 4, as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here? So let's go into the tick chart, which will be on 100 ticks here. So 100 ticks here. That's all we really need. That's the top of wave 3 here. So we can look at this as the A wave here, the B wave coming back up to hit supply zone here, or the 61.8%, whichever way you want to look at it. And then wave C. So we know wave C, oh, it's moving up nicely. Okay, cool. So the Asian markets, it's 8 o'clock in Sydney, so the Asian markets are opening up while the futures thing. So from wave B to wave C here, such we're looking for 5 waves. So wave 1 is clear, isn't it? Wave 2 here, that's clear. That's all cool. 1, 2, that's cool. And then wave 3 here being the longest, so we could look at that. We can look at it in 2 ways, but either way, whichever way you count this here, you still end up with wave 4 here. So if you've got wave 3 over here, that's okay too, or here. It doesn't matter. I mean, it does and it doesn't. It's both outcomes will still leave wave 4 here. So from wave 4 down to wave 5 here, we're looking for 5 waves here. So we've got 1 and 2 here, and be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 your third wave, fourth wave, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So I did call that in on the low here. So that's probably it there. So that's kind of good really, because I just want to go to just bear with me a second. I just want to check. I mean, I've got a working chart, which is my 20 tick chart here. So if we pick up, this is from wave B here to wave C here now. But what interests me is just this little structure here. And well, I can see, just double checking things. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So that should be the low there. That's it. That's all. I mean, technically you could trade long here, but so so just coming back here a moment to this one. This is the 100 tick here. So if we view this as a wave 4 here, then that can be completed here. That's it. So an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here. So in that case, we should just go straight up from here. So if this low is breached here, then we could go short from there too, couldn't we? So so if we go back to the hourly chart for a moment, just clean these up here. Don't need that. So just as a precaution, we can look at this here. I mean, because if I'm wrong, what will happen here is that this will move up here, retest that, and then move down here. And that would be the perfect short setup here. So that's on that side, so we can do that. And then we can also put this, we want to mitigate the risk. So really, I mean, we want to go long on top here. So I'll just put that here, and I'll just dramatize this a little bit in terms of height. So this would be the arrival, the reaction here, and then we would have the first high above the level if we were bullish, and that high is what you're looking for. You don't want to buy that high, you just want to be patient and wait for it to fall in, and then there'll be a little A, B, and C here or something, and then a move up, and then if it gets triggered, then you want to go long, and then you can put your stop under this previous low here. And in this case here, we would look to, well, I mean, it's just I mean, we should make new highs above here. So obviously the 29.50 would be the take profit area here. So if we can just copy that text, we'll put that there. But you may want to just take profits here. Because when a market moves up, I mean, the extension's in wave 3 here, right? So that means that wave 1 here and wave 5 will be roughly the same as a rule of thumb. There's many other ways to get targets for all of this, but I just like my levels. But the one thing that, this is the top of group 1 as well, but I just want to move that out of the way. The thing here is that normally you'll get, well, wave 1 and 2 in here. Normally you'll get wave 3 at the top here, and then you'll get wave 4 pulling back, and then wave 5 coming up here. I mean, I never take, if I was day trading, I never take profit at 50. I always take profit at 48, because I know that that's when the bids start to get hit at 48. That's where the orders will be sitting. All the people that want to get out early, that's the number they'll get out. They'll be thinking of 8. They won't be thinking of 7 or 9. They'll be, the 8 is where it is. 8's always remember 8 is a profit taking number wherever you see it. But what I wanted to point out is normally you'll see wave 3 at the previous top here, and that's where the little struggle will go on at that point, and we should see another high. It may not reach all the way up here, but you could take part profit here and trail it up. And that's basically what we mentioned here as well. So yeah, a nice little trade here. If you want to do that, that's fine. But it's the one after that that we want to focus on here a little bit. So I'll probably make another video tomorrow just so we get this top in place if this moves up here, because we want to catch this to the downside here. We may have to capture it in legs, the wave 1 and then get out and wait for wave 2 and then get into wave 3 and so on. So I think we can put that over here. I mean, there is that problem of the cash market already going up there. I mean, even with the cash market here, bring the cash market across here as an A wave here, a B wave here. You can see if you've got a close eye here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 coming down here. So it hasn't covered its gap here, or this gap here. So that will be on that downswing for that. So let me just... So we know what to do if I'm wrong here. We can go short here. Okay, so that's cool. So what we need to do next up here is look for the short trade at the top here. I don't particularly like shorting or going into anything without any evidence or a nice place to put my stop, you know. So this may or may not reach the 50, may just reach 40, you know, I don't know. But one of the things that we can look at is that, if I can borrow one of these again. If it goes, but it'll be somewhere between 40 and 50. In fact, I should just move that down here in that space there. So normally what I find once the structure's finished, if we've got group 1 here, which is 10, 20, and 30, and then the midpoint, which is 50. So that midpoint can just move up here, and we don't need those guys. And what I find is that if the market's going to come up here somewhere and then fold back down through here, normally the market will be bearish when the number 2 here, I call it the pivot within group 1, once that becomes the resistance here, then that opens up the short trade. That tells me that the trend is moving down, because when number 2 here becomes while that stays as support as bullish, when it becomes the resistance, then it's pulled down to the closest largest number, in this case the 2900 area here. So we'd be on our way at that point. Make sure you keep your stop out of the way though, back up above here, because you need to get down here further as well. So I'm just talking about the safe trade to start with, you know. So that will be coming in here like that, so we can get a few positions in here because we want to get to that number one in here. So the other point here is that if sometimes there's a nice trend and sometimes they're not. So this, like in this case here, there's a nice trend, isn't there? So in this case here, let's just say that we have a lucky day and we've got a nice trend at that point. So you wanted to get in a little bit earlier and you're not quite sure on the wave count, well then just use a simple, keep it simple here, and we'll just use a trend line. I'll just put it in a thin trend line, which just means half a position at that point, so we can get 3 positions in at the beginning of the trend here, and then we'll just see how we can work wave 1 and 2 to the downside. We might accommodate that, and we'd also want to leave the stop out of the way here as well to get to the downside. I mean, technically we need to go above wave 2 there, so we don't want to bugger it up, so we'll just leave that way out the way at this stage. Okay, look, I think we've got all bases covered here. It sounds like I don't know what I'm doing, but I think we're sort of okay. Okay. Yep, we'll just leave it at that. Let's see how the cookie crumbles. Thanks for tuning in and thanks for the support. Appreciate it. Cheers.